Millions of UK drivers could be breaking the law right now without even knowing it. If you passed your driving test more than 10 years ago, your license might already be invalid and you could face a fine of up to £1,000 or even lose your insurance. The DVLA has just issued an urgent alert, and what they've said affects almost everyone on the road. So before your next drive, watch this till the end, because a 2-minute check could save you from massive trouble. First, why now? What has triggered this alert? The DVLA's message is directed at people who passed their driving test more than 10 years ago. That's because, under current rules, a photocard license issued in Great Britain typically expires 10 years after the issue date and must be renewed. The expiry date is printed in Section 4B of your license card. That means if you passed in, say, 2014 or earlier, and your license hasn't been renewed, you may be driving on an expired or soon to expire card without realizing it. According to recent reporting, there may be around 2 million or more drivers affected. Why does this matter? The DVLA explains that renewing every 10 years is necessary because the photograph on the card needs to remain a reasonably accurate likeness. Security features improve and help prevent license fraud or misuse, and the renewal process ensures the record of the driver remains up to date and legal. Second, what exactly you must check and how to do it. Grab your driving license now. Look at the front of the photo card. In Section 4B, you'll see an expiry date. If that date has passed or is very near, you need to act. If you've got one of the older style licenses, paper or paper plus counterpart, issued a long time ago, the situation may differ. For example, licenses issued before 2000 as single-piece paper licenses may still be valid, but only if all the information, name, address, is accurate and you haven't moved or changed name without updating. Here's how to check properly. Make sure your name, address and date of birth on the license are correct. If you've moved or changed name, that must be updated. Check Section 4B for the renewal expiry date. If it's expired and you are still driving, that's a risk. If you're over 70, different renewal intervals apply, every 3 years, so check accordingly. If all has changed, photo looks nothing like you now. You moved house, renewal is probably needed. Then to renew, you can go online via the official gov.uk site if eligible. You'll need a valid UK passport or certain ID in many cases. Renewing online is relatively cheap, about £14 according to recent sources, and takes only a few days. If you prefer post or via post office, those options exist, though cost more and take longer. Third, what happens if you don't act? If you persist in driving with an expired or invalid license, several serious consequences are possible. You could be prosecuted under the Road Traffic Act 1988 for driving without a valid license. A fine of up to £1,000 is flagged by many sources. Your vehicle could be seized if you are stopped and found to be driving illegally. Insurance companies may not cover you if you're driving without a valid license. If you have an accident, you may be entirely uninsured. If you're involved in an incident and your license details don't match the records, it could significantly complicate matters, including legal liability and invalidation of claims. So this isn't just a paperwork exercise. Driving legally depends on the license being valid. Many drivers assume once they've passed the test, they're always fine. That assumption is what the DVLA alert aims to shatter. Fourth, common pitfalls and what people miss. Many drivers assume I took my test once, I'm fine forever, but the 10-year renewal rule is easily overlooked. Older licenses, paper or older card style, may still be valid, but only under certain conditions. If you moved house, changed your name, or the license looks very outdated, you could be invalid without knowing. Some drivers get renewal letters, others don't. Just because you haven't had a reminder doesn't guarantee you're fully compliant. The DVLA points out you shouldn't rely only on reminders. Address and name matters. If you've changed your name after marriage or moved and haven't updated your license, it may be invalid even if the expiry date is fine. Don't ignore the photo if the likeness is so out of date that it's not you. It defeats one of the reasons for the renewal rule. Be cautious. Scams exist purporting to be from DVLA, asking for personal or financial information. Always use the official gov.uk site. Fifth, why the sense of urgency now? Because license expiry is creeping up. If you passed your test in or before 2015 and your license hasn't been updated since then, you are either due now or overdue. Given how many drivers that covers, the DVLA is flagging this as a comparable priority to other major compliance items. News outlets are reporting millions potentially affected. Renewing takes only a few minutes online, costs a small amount, and once done, you can drive with peace of mind. But leaving it tomorrow when you're stopped today could cost you far more. Sixth, step-by-step checklist you should follow right now. 1. Get your driving license out. 2. Look at the front photo card. Check Section 4B, expiry date. 3. Confirm your name, address, date of birth are correct. 4. If the date is past or you are over 70 and more than 3 years have passed, plan renewal. 5. Visit the official gov.uk website. Search Renew Driving License DVLA, ensure URL ends with gov.uk, and you are on the secure site. 6. If eligible, renew online, have your passport or required ID to hand. 7. If you prefer post or post office, order the D1 form. Send current license, a recent photo, and required fee. 8. While you wait for the new card, you must still meet the other legal requirements to drive. Valid insurance, MOT taxes, fitness to drive. Renewal of license doesn't override those. 9. Once you receive the new license, check it immediately for accuracy. 10. If you find any complications G, your test pass is unrecorded, or your license has been lost or stolen, contact DVLA for advice. 7th, special cases you should know about. If you're over 70, you must renew every 3 years, and the process is free if you're over 70. So, check accordingly. If you hold an old paper license issued before April 2000, it may still be valid, but only if your details are unchanged name, address, and you've never been disqualified. If you moved or changed name, you really need to act. If you hold a license issued in Northern Ireland, rules differ somewhat compared to Great Britain, especially with the paper counterparts still in use. Always check your region's specific rules. If you changed name, marriage, civil partnership, and did not notify DVLA, the license may technically be invalid. If you've lost your license or it's stolen, you can apply for a replacement, and renewing or replacing may coincide. If your photo is extremely outdated, for example, 20 or 30 years old, and you change drastically, renewing is strongly recommended. 8th, why this isn't just form filling, the broader implications. At first glance, you might think it's only a card, so what? But the implications are significant. Road safety, updated photographs and data help enforcement and identification. If you're driving with an outdated or incorrect license, you're more vulnerable if stopped. Legal liability, if you drive with an invalid license and are involved in an accident, you may face insurance rejection and legal claims. Financial cost, renewal costs may be £14 online minimal when compared with a potential fine up to £1,000, plus possible insurance hikes or legal fees. Trust, the license is an official identity document that you may need in many contexts. Car hire, insurance, ID checks. Driving on one that could be considered expired reduces your credibility. Administrative backlog. Many drivers ignoring this check means the DVLA has larger volumes to process, and errors might creep in if thousands rush at the last minute. Ninth, real-life stories and warnings. One case reported by a leading UK newspaper involved a driver who had been driving for 40 years, only for the DVLA to claim they never passed a test. That shows that records can be incomplete, digitization issues exist, and missing renewal or outdated data can lead to unexpected nightmares. 10th, final thoughts. What to do after this video. If you're watching this, pause for a moment and take 2 minutes to check your license. It is far easier to act now than face the consequences later. Tell friends and family, especially older relatives who may not be aware of this requirement. Many drivers assume the rule applies only to new licenses, but in fact, it affects long-term license holders too. If you pass this test and find everything is okay, good. You're done and have peace of mind. But if you find an issue, occur an expiry date, outdated details, or mismatch of name/address, book the renewal right away. Finally, keep a schedule. Once you renew, mark your calendar for when you'll need to do it next. Think of it like your passport renewal. Once done, stay ahead.